Welcome to Enlifement, place to connect. Prishanteo kasai ibind, navtionos se kachu, nam satyan tekeno pra. Ibla nokas sevind, kanshod livono, am sat tishu. Nimra tikoshu dal eka, lano pre. Sa ivish naktosa, keru naki, am sai tokisha ebe. Life in a balance, life out of balance, life is all of this, the consciousness. You come to this place in existence that you surrender to your true self, that is the consciousness. And in that surrendering, you realize that this physical body is a vehicle for the expression of the consciousness that you are. So we constantly find it necessary to keep surrendering to the whole thing because this transformation brings about change. And the body may feel stressed or resistant to it because the body's example is the world around it, the conditions, beliefs, and concepts. But you, as the true self, are unconditioned. You can experience yourself unconditionally. That is, not naming things. The biggest problem for humanity has been naming things. What do we call that? What do we call this? And unfortunately, once you name something, you're kind of stuck with it. But as the consciousness, as the true self, you cannot be stuck to anything, not even the body. The body must transform to house a higher frequency of your true self. And that may feel pressure, may feel stress, but those things are natural in a state of growth. You might imagine how a plant feels when it sprouts from its little seed. It was very comfortable in the seed, no problems, it was very quiet, very still. But suddenly it burst open with life and starts growing. And in that growing process, it is subjected to all kinds of things on the outside. The wind blows it, the sun bakes it, animals try to eat it. So, in a way, we are fortunate we're not plants, but we are a body that has the same experiences, a body that is programmed with beliefs, concepts from the past. You learn who you are at a very early age. They name you, and from then on, you're that. You're that person, that name. But as you learn, as you become aware that that is not who you are, that is simply the label. And when we take this process of delabeling things, we experience a lot of energy, a lot of freedom. So I see that it's best not to call things by a name. Oh, I have this, I've had that, this has happened, that's happened. That's energy that gets locked in to a structure. And the consciousness cannot be structured. It is, we could say, a free spirit. It is open and expanding and wise and knowing, and to the point, it is all. To realize the allness of this life as consciousness is to be open to a transcendence of your past. You can let go of the past and embrace the moment, realizing what the moment is. The moment is the presence of the consciousness. The consciousness. Not conscious, but consciousness. That is what I call the Absolute. It has many names, it's been called many things. But those labels tend to stick. This is the way it works, this is what it is. But the consciousness is like a free spirit. It cannot be labeled. It cannot be called a thing. How do you call something a thing when it is all? The consciousness is all, absolute. It is beyond time and space. It cannot be limited by this mere physical form. It actually uses the form for self-expression. It uses this form to speak the truth. Or it's sidelined by speaking one's conditions, beliefs, or concepts. So it is really time to wake up. Wake up to who you are. Wake up to that beingness, that consciousness that vibrates the whole cellular structure. You can transform. You're not locked in to anything. You can be more as much as you can imagine you are more. We realize that words contain the body. They see it limited. They see it destructible. They see it full of problems. Of course, when that is what the body is handed, it's going to be very resistant to anything. But through the consciousness, through awakening to your true self, the body actually is relieved. It no longer is carrying this responsibility of the past, the responsibility of beliefs and conditions and experiences. You can finally bring everything into focus. I am that which is the whole, not limited, not bounded, not separate, but totally in a state of transforming, transcending all past things to be this moment, to be the consciousness. Awakening is that. To awaken to the true self, the consciousness that you are, is a rapid transition from who you were. You begin a process of letting go. You don't identify with your past. You can only identify with the consciousness as it is in the very moment. And that you shall not die, but you live. You live constantly as the light of awareness, of presence. That is the consciousness. It cannot be limited. It cannot be held back. How do you hold something back that is everything? What are you holding? You try to take out a piece of it, say, well, this is my piece, but is it? The whole cannot be divided or separate. The consciousness is never separate, divided in any way, and it cannot be conditioned. It does not follow beliefs or concepts. It is not programmed. So when one awakens when you let go and become the whole real self that you are. You are the living, breathing presence of the consciousness. And when you're at that state, you see that everywhere. Everything is the consciousness. Some of it is so contained in packages, beliefs, and concepts and conditioning that it's hard to detect it, but it's there. So when you look out on this world and you see these problems that are taking place, realize that that is something is trying to break through. And when something is breaking through, it seems like a problem. It seems to be needing to be resisted, but to let go. Surrender is the ultimate experience of the consciousness, moment by moment. We are living presence, beingness, the isness that is life. Life, consciousness, the whole, the cosmic, all of it, consciousness, vibrating in a higher frequency constantly, ever moving faster and faster within itself. As the body is being prepared for a higher frequency, change takes place. And it requires a lot of letting go because the intellect clings to what was. It clings to what it's heard. It clings to what it was told. It clings to its beliefs. But that simply is holding it back. The body is a living thing. It is not a stone to be cast aside. So we appreciate the opportunity to experience the fullness of this life, moment by moment, allowing, being, vibrating in a higher energy and frequency. Love is the key to the absolute, moment by moment. Winston putting his bit in.
Anand Sa would say, love is the key. Thank you, Ishvara.
You're welcome.
And Todd says, wonderful. Thank you, Ishvara.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your love and your support.